Greetings, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome. I am the Crypto Crow, and it's actually currently 9:09 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, my time. And today we're not doing another FTX video. I've seen a million of these FTX videos. Everybody's riding that wave. I'm going to be doing something a little different here. But before I do that, let's get the disclaimer.
Don't care. It's quite a rough ride, just like life. But I'm kind of patient, 'cause only time will tell.
All right, so we're back. Listen, I'm going to tell you right now, straight up, I'm already sick of all this FTX garbage. And I have been... If you watch me regularly, you know how I've felt about Solana for many months, if not years at this point. I've tried to spell it out. I try to say things. Listen, when you watch my channel, you have to be able to read between some lines, plain and simple. And you have to be able to, because there are I've dealt with the algorithm for years now, and I don't get any help. I just try to keep it as real as I can. Listen, I have been a big proponent of Cardano since 2017 for a multitude of reasons, one of which being the fact that it's not owned and pushed by a bunch of major VCs that have been pumping mad money into everything but their project. I mean, I don't know how many times I have shaken my finger at Solana and other kinds of projects because their tactics have just, in my opinion, been dirtballish. And, we've seen the tribalism. I've talked about the tribalism. I've talked about the way so many people thought that Solana was going to basically take them to the moon and back. And it didn't matter what the hell you tell these morons. They're just out there all over Twitter trying to castrate everyone verbally because they don't believe in the same shit they do. And I've got news for them. How do you feel now? I mean, because realistically, while I hate the idea that anyone is harmed by what's happening in the crypto space right now, there are so many people that have been trying to point things like this out ad nauseum, and the tribalism, it's like everything else I'm seeing in the world today. People get so hooked on these bullshit narratives that mean absolutely nothing to anyone but them, and they constantly regurgitate this garbage expecting the world to change for the better. How's it changing? How's it going for you? So when I see projects like Cardano and I see their slow grow towards growth, expansion, scalability, interoperability, prosperity for those who are early adopters into this blockchain, and I give time and time again the reasons why I feel the way I do, those who take that information and run with it and further their own research only do what? They confirm everything that I say. But those who try to, I see the snide comments, and I'm not going to see any more of them for a while, I'm sure. But you see all these snide comments from Solana supporters, and they want to take a dump on you. What has Solana done? What has Solana done other than pump? What has Solana done? There isn't anything. What, shut down? I mean, the thing of it is I'm not even going to get into there is so much unraveling and unfolding as it relates to FTX and Sam Bankman-Fried and all of this other nonsense. The relationships of the father and the family, and how everybody was banging each other out in some Bahamas penthouse, living on sleeping bags like some sort of commune. I mean, cool, more power to them. I don't even care. I don't even care that Sam Bankman-Fried's girlfriend was basically key in this whole scam business. What I saw videos of her basically saying she doesn't even know how to do math very well, but she's put in charge of how many billions of dollars worth of finances and doing a job that apparently she was quoted as saying was terrifying. I get it, because when you're in over your head and you're not quite sure if what you're doing is right or wrong, or this is going to work or that's going to work, when you're talking about billions of dollars, it is terrifying if you have a conscience. It's terrifying if you want good, if you have goodwill and you're trying to do right. But was she? I mean, that's the idea. Was she? So, I figured rather than just continuously dump on FTX and FTT and all the associated projects and dive into stuff, I was going to have a little fun and just go through Charles Hoskinson's tweets, because I can have a field day just going over everything that he's been putting out there, because he's calling it like it is. Man, that needed to happen. I'm trying to figure out. Okay, my wife is bored because I'm up here working at 9:00 instead of down there watching a Netflix series because we went to EDC in Orlando for the weekend, and let me just tell you, save your money on the VIP. We got VIP tickets and they didn't do us anything. I mean, there's no point to having those things whatsoever. It was a fun time. The staging, all the different stages, the endless sea of people, hot people. It was a big, wild, fun party. But at my age, I never got into drugs. I'm not into them now. And I feel like you're just surrounded by a bunch of people tripping balls and having the time of their life. Cool, go for it. But it just wasn't our bag. And after a few hours each day, we're like, let's go back to the hotel and chill. Because, walking around countless hours and just dodging people. You got all these shirtless guys with muscles that think they're hot shit, shoulder checking everybody. I almost tripped one, but I was like, I just don't want the drama. I was getting so fed up. My wife was getting fed up. And VIP doesn't really mean anything. It just meant you spent a hell of a lot more money than you should have, and you got absolutely nothing for it. So congratulations, you're an idiot. I've got that badge. So, if we were to ever go to another EDC event, we're not even going to bother the VIP. I was under the impression there were going to be special rooms and couches and all kinds of stuff for like an old bastard like me to be able to sit and relax and just jam out to some tunes. Nope, there wasn't really any of that. The drinks were so cheap and shitty. I mean, they were strong, but it was all cheap. You couldn't get anything good. So basically, I had a hangover headache before we even left the place. Maybe that's their way of trying to tell old people to like stay gone, stay out. But anyway, we had a pretty decent time and it was fun, but definitely not even close to worth the money we spent. So anyway, let's take a look at Charles Hoskinson and what he's got going on. This is a tweet that he had posted back in 2020. This time next year, I predict there will be hundreds of assets running. Hundreds, that's funny. Hundreds of assets running on Cardano, thousands of dApps, tons of interesting projects, and lots of unique use and utility. 2021 is going to be so much fun watching Cardano grow and evolve. The community is definitely ready to innovate. And then 5 hours ago, he says, the irony of the babbling idiots happily because somebody retweeted it, blah blah blah, more under promises, under deliver, brother. I'm sure that account probably has 45 followers that he probably paid for on Fiverr. But anyway, the great irony of the babbling idiots happily retweeting this statement is that Cardano now has 6 million native assets issued, 3.6 million wallets, over 100 launched projects, and more than 1,000 that are building. So yeah, it actually came true. Please tell the world that you're stupid. And I wholeheartedly agree, because it's this kind of stuff that people post, and it's nonsensical. It's like, why? And I actually went to Twitter to Charles' page because as I'm recording this video, I'm actually watching Bitcoin's price go down because I have a short still in play that's up about $1,000 right now. So I'm pretty happy about that. I'm not happy about Bitcoin or anything else going on in the market, but people keep trying to say, oh, it's the black swan. It's the black swan. Like, there are black swans in every bear market. Like, people are trying to blame everything on SPX or FTX. No, I think that's just what it is this time. And there's going to be a lot more coming, so don't worry.
A gigantic Ponzi. And I'm not afraid to say those very harsh words. I said this on the Wolf of Wall Street podcast forever ago, saying Cardano is basically a full-fledged scam. And all the Cardano shills, of course, took offense. Charles Hoskinson took offense. And I feel like this is exactly what I was kind of talking about. I had the gut take then. Now we actually have the data. It's crazy that like most of crypto people didn't actually realize this very simple thing was happening, because no one who's actually in crypto actually pays attention to Cardano. There's nothing actually there. And Rand.
End rant, David. Wow. Okay.
Isn't that funny? I mean, to watch this, and I'm thinking to myself, who's paying them to do? Who? It's dumbfounding to me. It really is. It's dumbfounding to me to see stuff like this.
David.
It's like we have these like super awesome foundations, and it's like they just keep on enabling the worst.
Do you think that
Like, it's hard to justify what the hell we're doing here, man.
is it a problem with kind of the social layer?
It's like if we'll make these super cool applications and then scammers just can leverage them better.
Nexo is your financial hub for all your crypto needs.
Because a lot of these same guys they're also the same people pumping Solana, and they're pumping that whole ecosystem. And so I can't help but wonder. Here's the thing. When I was talking to I was talking to somebody, I think it was about the murder of crows. That's what it was. I was talking about how I was looking for some marketing help, and I was wanting to put the murder of crows out. And I'm like, yeah, I'm doing this on Cardano, and I was like, but I would love to get marketing help somehow. And basically, like, I was going to pay to like have them help me get some PR, some fun stuff to try and get the message out about the murder of crows. I ended up not doing any of it. I just did it myself, and just doing everything really organically. And but I was exploring options, and these guys were like, well, we have a really good relationship with Solana, and as you know, they have really big pockets. If you were looking for some marketing support, if you wanted to launch this on Solana, I'm sure we could get you some help. And I was like, no thanks. And that was the end of the whole conversation. I didn't move forward with them from there at all. I didn't even want to work with them at that point. So because I realized that like who I was dealing with, and the thing of it is there are always people out there, and I'm not saying these guys have. I don't know if they've been paid or not. They could just be genuinely, I don't even know what word I would use for them, quite frankly, but they're obviously ignoring all the facts and all the data, and they're pointing to data, and I'm like, so they're looking at this constant rise across all the metrics, and then they're saying that it's a Ponzi because it's growing? I don't understand the logic to that. It's like, it's time we stop being nonsensical and like, I don't know. It just blows my mind. I thought, you know what? Let's just share that because it's hilarious. To anybody that actually knows anything, that's pretty hilarious. There's one thing that Charles posted recently that I just thought, you know what? This is priceless. And it was a response to something, but I don't remember exactly how long. All this... Okay, cool. Charles, you'd like to meditate. That's wonderful. I think this 19th century bear hunting armor needs to be refreshed for crypto. Wow. I never even, that's interesting, actually. That'd probably be pretty useful. Okay, so I don't even know where this one thing went, but basically it was a comment. It was a series of comments and jabs taken at Cardano from Solana supporters, ultimately, and they were just making more nonsensical claims and basically just putting out lies, really. And I really don't understand why there are so many people out there. Or are there so many people? Like, realistically, at this point, what is Cardano left to prove? Because to me, just about everything out there right now is kind of a joke in a lot of ways. You know what? Let's just be real about this. I have watched Cardano from inception. I was gladly, proudly one of the, if not the first person on YouTube to talk about Cardano. December 17th, 2017 was my first video. And at the time, everyone was dumping on it. Everyone was talking trash. Everyone had a problem because there were bugs. There were bugs in the Daedalus wallet. The Daedalus wallet's like running a full node on the Cardano blockchain. It was slow and clunky, and everybody was used to like a MetaMask where everything is quick and zippy and this and that. And they all expected the same thing out of Daedalus, and they just didn't understand enough about crypto to understand what they were downloading and what they were using. And yeah, there were some bugs and there were some hiccups. Nothing major, but there were some issues. And over the years, you're talking 5 years of development. and nothing happened overnight. But how often has Cardano had to work backwards? In all of these years, how many times has Cardano had to roll back something? Have they had to reverse engineer something that they screwed up the first time around? Or they had to announce a major fix or major update or major fork specifically to fix something they already done? It hasn't happened, not to my knowledge, because they've been growing slowly, because every major development milestone in Cardano has been taking 3 different companies, hundreds of engineers, all working together under the leadership of Charles to build what I still, and even more now than ever, believe is going to become, quite frankly, the global ecosystem of the blockchain. Because what's going to happen now? Well, now that we've got all of this stuff unfolding about FTX and Sam Bankman-Fried and his little group of Merriweather friends that were running this multi-billion-dollar corporation company just going downhill, and the exposure that so many other companies and funds and investments and so forth are going to suffer from, and it is going to. And it's so funny, because have I not been saying this? Have I not been saying this all for months? We are going to get some stuff that happens that absolutely rushes regulation to the scene of the crime and starts putting a lot of shackles on a lot of people and a lot of things. And we're going to see that. And, you know, to be quite honest, I do believe it's needed. How it comes about is a big deal. Is it fairly distributed? That's a big deal. We're seeing all sorts of stuff that has been supposedly happening behind the scenes with basically a lot of big people as it relates to FTX. And ultimately, I do believe that a lot of the cryptocurrencies out today are likely going to be regulated away. Whether we like it or not, I see that. I believe one of the few blockchains that I think is going to withstand a lot of this scrutiny and a lot of this regulatory invasion, if you want to call it that, is Cardano. I believe Cardano is one of the most decentralized blockchains out there. If the SEC and any of these regulatory bodies, if they care about decentralization, they're not going to bother with Cardano. And quite frankly, I think when Atala and when all of these other things launch on Cardano, I think we're going to start seeing a lot of countries utilizing Cardano's blockchain for voting, for layer 2 applications, for democracy in multiple countries. And quite frankly, I'd like to see it used here in the US. I don't know why it takes, 4 or 5 hours for the state of Florida to count millions of votes, and it takes a state like Arizona to figure out what to do with 400,000 over a period of days. The winner's still not in, but we all know who's going to win that one. I mean, let's be real about it. We've seen this all before. We know what direction it's going. And it's just like, it's asinine. And it's like, we need a new system. And the thing of it is that until we have proper regulation in the crypto space overall, overseeing some of this stuff, but even like Charles said recently, this isn't just about regulation, because, and I didn't realize this, but yeah, Enron, okay, one of the biggest global Ponzi schemes in the world was a regulated entity. And look what happened there. So it's not necessarily that regulation is going to stop things like this from happening. But I believe that by getting rid of a lot of the avenues by which some of these shady actors can operate, it will at least limit the number of issues that we see moving forward. And I'm just one of these people that I'm absolutely waiting on Cardano. I'm waiting on Hydra. I'm waiting a lot of these things. I've got Subblocks in development. We just set it up so that people are earning block tokens on a ledger system on Subblocks right now. You know what I mean? And I'm working on this big master course, and there are things that I want to do with that. And I'm recording several of these video lessons a day for my master course. I've got 32 left, I think. And the rest of them are like big ones, so they're going to take me some time. And I don't even know what the point of this whole video is, other than I'm tired of seeing all the Sam Bankman-Fried stuff. You can't even click on anything in the crypto space now without it being all about FTX. And I get it, it's huge. And I get there's more pain to come. But I'm just shorting Bitcoin as we continue. And, I'm trying to make the best of it, trying to push through. People are trying to say this has ruined crypto. Crypto's dead. Crypto's over. I saw this all through 2018, 2019. I've seen this. You could go do a Wayback Machine. This whole crypto is dead nonsense has popped up in every bear market since inception. It doesn't mean shit. Crypto's not dead. It's not going anywhere. If anything, it's going to get better. It's going to be more refined. The shit shows are going to be pushed out of the space in favor of the people that already have, experience in the world operating major financial instruments. Okay, people that a lot of us obviously don't really care for, but that's going to be the way things go, unfortunately, because we can't. It's like a bunch of kids. It's like throwing a bunch of kids into a room with a lighter and some gasoline. What do you think is going to happen? Somebody or something's getting blown up if they don't have proper supervision, and that's what we've demonstrated. That in a world of crypto where there's so much opportunity for wealth overnight in a lot of cases and easy routes to get cash, to get money, to get value, whatever you want to call the value system of the time or the country or whatever, you're going to have bad actors taking advantage of every loophole and every opportunity there is. And there just isn't much anybody can do about it, but learn from that experience and move forward with a better understanding of what to expect and how to better be careful. And this lesson that so many people are learning, what are they learning? Don't put money in something that's not government federally insured. But you're not going to get that federal insurance until it's regulated properly, and it's a process. And ultimately, I think, quite frankly, it's not good. It's not good. But what's happening right now with FTX and how everything is being exposed the way it is, it's going to open up a lot of eyes. And while some people are going to feign disinterest or, I'm out of crypto, I made a bunch of stupid moves. I invested millions and millions of dollars into FTX because I saw a TV commercial for it and some referee wearing a T-shirt, and I thought it looked legitimate, and I didn't really want to do any due diligence on the people running it. Some hardcore nerd with a big giant do is standing there talking, and people thought, this guy sounds really smart. I think I'll give him hundreds of millions of dollars of my money. He named a stadium. Sentiment can be purchased. Have we not realized that yet in crypto? And the thing of it is, and this is what I'm going to leave you with, what stadium is Cardano renamed? What marketing money has Cardano had to put out into the world to try and build a reputation under false pretenses to try and build adoption of its blockchain? I'll give you a minute. I'm not sure. Is there? If there is, let me know in the comments below, because I'd love to see it, because I want one of those t-shirts. Where can I go and see a billboard on a street about Cardano? Where can I go and tune into the TV and see what money Cardano has had to spend to try and build awareness for their blockchain? I don't think that happens, because it's not really what the goal is here. The goal for Cardano is about building an infrastructure the world can utilize to basically give identity and banking exposure to people that wouldn't otherwise have it. And where it grows from there, nobody knows, because the opportunity's fucking endless. That's the whole point. When you build something of value, you don't really have to put that much into telling the world about it, because the word spreads like wildfire on its own based on the project's own merits. That's why when I see goofballs on Twitter or YouTube or wherever trying to take a dump on Cardano and tell me that it's a shit show or a ghost chain or a scam or a Ponzi or whatever, first of all, what in the world today isn't a Ponzi? Okay, the entire NASDAQ is technically a Ponzi, because the price goes up the more people that buy into it. And the person that already owns it, when the last person bought into it, gets value. That's technically kind of a Ponzi, is it not? What isn't really a Ponzi? Bitcoin. Is Bitcoin a Ponzi? Because if I hold some and then you and your mother and your brother and everyone else decides to go in and buy some after me, pushes the price up, does that make it a Ponzi? I'm tired of seeing so many morons in the space, yammering about things they either don't understand or they're trying to change the definition for, or they're trying to cast a shadow over because it offsets their potential value of whatever shit show bags they're holding. I'm sick of seeing it. And what's been happening right now with FTX and all of these other projects is the veil of all of this is being unfolded before your very eyes. And there are very few of us who've been out here trying to tell you so. We've been trying to tell you, look out for this stuff, because this is the kind of shit that happens with this stuff. And why? Some people want to listen. Some people don't. Some people want to take everything that Cardano's been building for 5 years now and try to dump all over it because it's a competitor. And not only is it a competitor, it's a superior competitor to the majority of the shit shows that everybody's trying to pump their money in for a 1000x gain by Thursday. And that shit's not going to happen anymore, folks. It's going to be legitimate projects that have proven themselves over time to continue growing in the ups and downs and the ebbs and flows of the market cycles as we see them. And not because they're boosted artificially by like big marketing campaigns meant to boost sentiment and get you talking, or awareness campaigns. It's not done. It's not ready for that. Maybe someday it'll happen, but when it happens, you're going to know that it's happening because of the merit of the applications built as layer 2s on the Cardano blockchain, not because they need you to go buy that token to keep pumping it to establish valuations for further shady deals in the back end. That's not what's happening. So if after everything that you're seeing go on today, and you still can't look at Cardano with a straight face and see the value, see the opportunity, see the potential, and understand the technology and what's being built and why, and be able to put a value to that, even if it's 10 years or 20 years down the road, which I think is crazy because I'm looking at value, 2025, 26. Even speculative value of Cardano far outweighs even some of the more, I don't know what you want to say, fundamental use case valuations of a lot of other blockchains out there. Because let's just face it, a lot of these blockchains that have been getting millions and millions and millions of dollars of our money from speculative investors in the retail markets aren't really worth the shit. They don't do that much. They don't do enough to justify or merit $100 million or $20 million in investment capital. But it's those kinds of projects that companies like FTX have launched, made the markets for, and fooled you into believing they were more valuable, while you've got all these other morons running around all over cyberspace to anyone who will listen, telling you it's a ghost chain, it's garbage. Why? Because it's evil trying to overcome good. That's the way I see it. It's a constant struggle for evil overcoming good. And what does evil do when it's trying to overcome good? They try to control the narrative. They try to tell you what to think. And they lie to you right to your freaking face, expecting you to be an absolute moron. And that if you believe it, they've won. And that's the battle we've been fighting now for years all over the cryptocurrency space. The problem is that too many projects have gone to the bunk side, gone to the downside, and not achieved much of anything, as too many people are running off with ICO money, investment capital, making nothing but excuses as to why it has been underperforming or not accomplishing XYZ because of all the promises they made before they got the cash. Listen, I understand things don't always go as planned, and there are always unforeseen circumstances. Hindsight is always 2020, but there's a big difference between 2020 hindsight and complete and utter ignorance, or you making a choice to ignore the facts. And if you make that choice to ignore the facts, you're the fucking idiot, not everyone not willing to listen to you or retweet your garbage. That's all I really have to say for tonight. It's Sunday. Enjoy your evening. I'll see you again this week.